Welcome to the Get Stoked podcast with Paul Stokes. Life lessons learned on the water that you can apply to everyday life. Now, here's Paul.
All right, hey, Paul Stokes here. Welcome to the Get Stoked podcast, where we talk about life lessons learned on the water that you can apply to everyday life. And today we're really excited and honored to be speaking with Kristi Overton Johnson.
Hi.
So welcome, Kristi. So Kristi is a world famous water skier. She's been a world record holder, a world champion multiple times, and apparently learning from her that someone told her she's the winningest professional skier, winning 80 professional events, and that's just an amazing accomplishment. But beyond that, she's a very inspirational person. She inspires people and gives talks kind of like we're going to do today regularly. So if you're not following her on Facebook, do, because she'll share with you some great things that you can put into your life that will benefit you. So I'm really excited. So thank you for joining me.
And I want to clarify, not the winningest, but one of.
One of, okay.
And I didn't say
anyway.
that. You read that in a bio somewhere. Or someone told
It's
me
impressive.
that one
It's
time.
impressive.
But I'm sure Andy
yeah.
and Dina and Camille and Sammy and Regina and different ones have right up there with it.
Okay,
so,
okay.
or
Well, I
past
like
it.
to compliment my guests.
Well, I just
so.
want to make sure they don't send me email.
Well, if they're watching this, that's good.
That is
right?
good.
So.
You get them on here.
Anyway, we're really excited, and in talking about the life lesson that we wanted to share today, getting us kicked off, which I'm sure we're gonna just go off the rails, but talking about hit it, and where when most skiers say hit it when they're ready for the boat to go, barefooters say yeah. So that's what we do. But when you're giving that command to the boat, and we'll go with hit it, of course, you're committed at that point. You've said, hey, I'm ready to go on this path and get this done. And, I'm going to let you take the wheel about, your lesson in and around and what hit it means to you.
Yeah, well, those words were two little words that my father introduced me to when I was 4 years old. It was 1974. I was in North Carolina on the Pamlico River. There I was standing on the banks in these little trainer skis and the ropes, connected to the skis. You're holding this handle and the rope then from the skis is going to the boat. Yeah. And, my dad and those other adults that were sitting there, they're like, as soon as you're ready to go, baby, I want you to yell out, hit it. And that was the command, obviously, to tell the boat driver that I was ready to go. And when that boat took off, little did we know that for 35 years, water skiing would take me all over the world and lead to all those titles and different things. But what's so amazing is in that 35 years, how many falls there were. So you mentioned being one of the winningest water skiers. The thing is, I lost more than I won.
Sure. And
especially, I go speak a lot, and when I'm speaking to youth, one of the questions I get is, do you ever fall? And they are just astounded that a world champion or world record holder falls.
Every practice.
Every practice. In fact, when you think about it, the slalom event, the winner is the person that misses or falls at the furthest point of the course. So when you step off, at some point in the course, you're going to fail. But the fact is, knowing that I was going to fail or fall never kept me from getting off the dock. And so one thing I've learned is, first of all, victory never comes when you don't get off the dock. You've got to get off the dock. You've got to push through all the things that are keeping you in your comfort zone, whether it's fear or guilt or whatever it is. But then you get off the dock and you connect to that boat and you say, hit it. That's a commitment. That's a commitment over and over again to do something that sometimes you may not want to do, that may hurt. I can remember so many times just in so much pain, but still I was going to say, hit it. Yeah. And it was those two words, hit it, that made me a world champion. It wasn't perfection. And so when you carry that over into your life, those two words, hit it, are what makes champions. It's about having a heart of perseverance. And many of you who follow me know I'm a Christian, and even throughout the whole Bible, especially in the New Testament, God talks about the one who perseveres to the end, they're the ones that receive the reward. And, life is all about persevering through life's choppy waters. And I think about all the times that I have fallen in my life, water skiing and in life. They happen because of different reasons. One, maybe I did something. Maybe I fought against the power of the boat, or I brought my hands over my head or straightened my legs. It was a mistake I made. Sometimes your equipment broke. I've had ropes snap, skis break. Sometimes some people cheated. There were times that I lost a world championship title in France by 1/100th of a second because of driver error, and I was disqualified. So all throughout life, there's going to be reasons that you fall and that you fail, and maybe it's because you made a mistake or the conditions blew up.
Out of your control.
It starts to sleet or storm. I've flown, to Australia, and the king tide hits when you're on the Moomba River and the Yarra River at Moomba, and you're skiing, and the tide's going one way and the wind's going the other, and you're watching Wade Cox and all these guys fall around one ball, re-ride, fall around one ball, and it was because the conditions. And that's life too. You're gonna have all sorts of things that knock you off your feet. The question is, are you gonna quit it, or are you gonna hit it? Are you gonna get up and learn from your mistakes, try again, push yourself past all of that guilt and fear? I think about all those times I stood on the dock, even at the Masters and US Open and Worlds, and my legs, I promise you, I couldn't feel them. They were just shaking. I was so nervous, and you're looking at all those people and that fear of failure and wanting to perform well and be a perfectionist, and also to have people just be pleased with what you do. It could have stopped me in my tracks, but thank goodness it didn't, because again, I knew that if I didn't get off the dock, I wouldn't have victory. If I didn't push through it and say hit it and make that commitment to just try, I wouldn't have victory. So I guess that's my life lesson. Around the world, words hit it. I get to go into prisons and share that message about just second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances in life, about committing to the right power source and letting go of all the things that hold you back. And so I was sharing with you yesterday, and if you want to talk, this is your show.
No, you're
Okay.
doing fantastic. I love it.
Well, I was sharing with you yesterday on the phone when we were kind of prepping for this. One of my favorite stories was about the time that I said hit it and I couldn't get up. Yeah. And I was in the water at Lake Kristi. My dad, when I was 11, 12 years old, had built me a lake to ski on, he and my mom, in North Carolina. Hence the twang. And my dad had invited the entire church to watch me ski. So there was a little bit of pressure there. Here I'm a young girl, and they're expecting something phenomenal because they knew I was turning pro at 13. So I was skiing pretty well, even at 12 years old. And when I got in my little slalom position, I had my Conley ski, I had my Nautique boat, I had the best coaches, great drivers, my own private lake. And I got the know-how, and I've got the commitment. And I say hit it, and as I'm trying to get up out of that water, it was like some force grabbed hold of me and pulled me back. And I fell in front of all of those people. And I share this story a lot in prisons and stuff, and I'm like, I had a choice. I could go into the water and just hold my breath until I was done, swim in and quit it, or reconnect and say hit it. So I did, and the same thing happened. And as I was getting up, I was like, hey, the embarrassment factor kicked in.
Big time.
Big time. And I was like, I am getting up no matter what happens. And I got up, I fought the pull of the boat, of the water. And when I got up, I looked behind me. And what had happened was my wetsuit had kept filling up with water. So it was acting like a parachute and sucking me back down and dragging.
Big time.
So I would tell the guys in prisons, I said, that song, Baby's Got Back? Baby had back. I had this wetsuit with about 30 pounds of water weight jiggling around in my rear. And as I was going around that island, I realized I had a choice. I could lose the weight and run the course, or I could carry the weight and just stay behind the boat. There was no way even though I was persevering and trying to do what I knew to do, if I was carrying the load, there was no way I was going to do what I was good at doing, what I was designed to do, what I had been trained to do and gifted to do and desired to do. I couldn't do it if I was carrying that weight. And
The weight of life.
the weight of life.
Yeah, you're comparing that to you can't carry the baggage of life of
Yeah.
your past to hold you back
Yeah.
from saying hit it and going forward.
Yeah, and that can be a lot of things. For everybody, it's different. It could be self-hate. I had a lot of self-hate. I mean,
That's hard to believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of self-hate. There were times even, this is getting really deep, but that I contemplated suicide as a young, just because I was so angry because I couldn't perform perfectly, which is a message in itself. There's no
perfect.
there's no perfect, and so. But you're not even going to be able to perform at all if you're carrying self-hate, if you're carrying guilt or shame or fear, or you're tied to something. Maybe it's a person that's holding you back. Maybe it's a bad experience. Maybe it's low self-esteem. And like I said, it's different for everybody. But, God tells us to cut loose. And to cut loose the things that hold us back so that we can run the race that we were created to run. And I think about, that lake. My father had created that lake and that course for me to run. And I believe with all my heart, God has created a race, a course, a place, a plan. And we can't fulfill it if we're tied up, weighed down, loaded down, carrying the anxiety and the weight, anxiousness.
Yeah, we talked about carrying the weight of your past, maybe what you've done in the past, but we also talked about stressing about things that haven't happened, things that you can't control.
Yeah.
There's you can't control the conditions when you show up to the lake. You can't control the boat driver.
Yeah.
You can't control what happens in your life ahead of you. All you can control is yourself.
And skiers are the worst when it comes to being anxious about things and excuses.
Yeah.
And already projecting. I remember
Projecting excuses.
they've already got your list, and I've been one of them. That's why I can say it. But I remember being at these Pro Tour events and champions. People that were great skiers, but already with my luck, the wind's going to blow up. I'm sure it'll rain on me. You see all the rollers out there, and you're already worried about it. You've already planned to fail.
Those thoughts are very, very powerful.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The thoughts and your words.
If you believe
of
it,
life
it's
and
true.
death.
If you believe it, it's true.
Yeah.
Right.
That's your reality, becomes what you believe. And it was so funny, just a couple of days ago, someone asked me if the ropes ever break, and I'm like, it's been a while, but yeah, they'll break. Next set, my husband's rope broke. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't
Wow.
projected that on him. And it was an old rope. It had long outlived it's probably one I skied with 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Better him than me there in that water.
Well, I think that's a great lesson. If you're wondering why we're so dressed up,
Yes, that would be.
we're actually in a hotel down here in Orlando at a Disney resort hotel, and we're here for the Hall of Fame induction.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Kristi is a Hall of Famer. And
Hence the name tag. I don't usually
Yeah.
wear a name tag either.
she took the time to record with us today. The party's getting started actually as we speak. So what a great lesson. We hope you got something out of it. And hopefully, in my case, if you're a barefooter, get out there, and take it to the next level on life.
Get off
And
that
hit it.
dock and
So.
cut loose.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Like, share, comment. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Get Stoked podcast with Paul Stokes. You can contact Paul at ontheballpaul.com. We look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, stay stoked.